Good morning everyone. So today I will discuss about the chapter Gravitation, which is a part of class 7 CBSE syllabus. Okay. So as you know that the earth actually applies a attraction force to each and every particle that is present on the earth surface. Okay. That means each mass or each particle have an attraction force towards the earth surface, and also each mass or each particle is attracting another mass particle. Okay, so now this force of attraction between these two particles has a law that has been established by Isaac Newton, and the law is known as Newton's law of gravitation. Okay, so suppose there is two masses, that is m1 and another is m2. Okay, these are the mass of object number 1 and this is object number 2. Okay, and these are the mass, that is m1 is the mass of object number 1 and m2 is the mass of object number 2. So now the distance between this 1 and 2 object is suppose r. Okay, and this is the force 1 2, that means the force applied on this second object by this first object. Okay, and force 2 1 means force applied on this first object on the by the second object. Okay, so now we will understand the law of gravitation. That is, according to Sir Isaac Newton, what is the attraction force between these two particles, that is m1 and m2, okay, will be directly proportional to the product of their masses. That means m1 into m2. Okay, the product of the masses means m1 into m2. So that means the force will be directly proportional with the product of the masses. That is the first law. And the second is that it will be inversely proportional with the distance between them, square of the distance. Okay, that is here in this case the distance is r, right? So what will happen, the force will be directly proportional to inversely proportional with r square. Okay, so now we will discuss the law here. Okay, so the two particles has a mass of m1, first is m1 and then is m2. The distance is taken already as r. So as I told that the force will be directly proportional to the product of the masses, that is m1 cross m2, and force will be inversely proportional to 1 by r square. That means the square of the distance. Okay, so now we have to remove this in directly proportional sign, and we will bring a constant here. Here g is the constant, which is also known as gravitational constant, and the value of this constant remain the same always. Okay, it does not depend on the climate, it does not depend on the place, irrespective of the place, okay, or the temperature, everything. Okay, the value of the g will be constant. It will be constant always, it will be constant. Okay, so as you know that the force is a vector quantity. What do you understand by this vector quantity? That means it has a magnitude and it also has a direction. Okay, it also has a direction. So a vector quantity always have a magnitude and a direction. So force is a vector quantity, and here I have shown that force 2 1, that means force exerted on the mass 2 by mass 1, and force 1 2, that means force exerted by the mass on mass 1 by mass 2. It will be equal and opposite force. That is why it is also called action reaction force. Okay, it will always be equal and opposite. These two forces will always be equal and opposite. Okay, this is the third law of Newton also. Okay, you will come to know about it in higher classes. So now from this line we can conclude that is a particle exert a force on another particle which will be equal and opposite to the force on the second particle exert on the first particle. That is what I have shown you here. The first particle which exerts the force, okay, on the second particle has a equal and opposite force that the second particle exerts on the first particle. Okay, so this is a action reaction force, and these two forces will always be equal and opposite force. Okay, thank you for watching. I will discuss next part in the next videos. Okay, keep on watching. Thank you everyone.